Morning, Friday, December 1st. And because of what's going on in the Middle East, many have overlooked the fact that COVID-19 is still hanging in there. There were around 18,000 Americans were hospitalized with COVID-19 last year. Now, that's about a 10% increase over the prior week. That's the data that's been released by the CDC. So hospitalizations in the U.S. have been dropping, but now they've started to tick up again. This has been caused by the coronavirus strain BA.2.86. And the World Health Organization has increased the status of BA.2.86 to a variant of interest. And although the organization says the current risk appears to be low, this strain, the BA strain 2.86, first turned up in August and is now the third most common strain. It's causing about 1 in 11 cases. But only 16% of American adults have gotten the latest vaccines. And just 6% of the kids have gotten the latest vaccine. So it's time to get off your tush, America, and get yourself vaccinated once again, because we don't want to have another COVID-19 episode in the middle of all of our other problems. So this is like a warning. I'm issuing a warning. Now I want to move on to some other subject. You know, in this country, when things have to get done, there's always deals that have to be made. Nothing, it seems to me, that has to be done by Congress or the Senate can ever be a straight deal. Like, this has to be done, so that's it. Let's get it done. No, it's always something that, if you want to do this, then I want to have a piece of this, or whatever it is. And I'm saying that because we have the Ukraine and Israel that need aid. But people in the Senate want to have border controls, U.S. border controls, part of this deal. Because a number of Democrats remain divided on whether more conditions need to be put in place to aid Israel, or less conditions. And then there's Republicans who want to tighten up the things that are going on at the border. And Republicans are insisting that significant changes must be made to the asylum policy and the way that the Biden administration handles so-called humanitarian parole. So it's amazing to me that it's something that has to be done. It has to be a straightforward deal. It has to get done, gets involved in other things that have to get done. So we're not going to do this because we got to do this. So if you give me a little of this, I'll give you a little of that. I know it sounds like mishmash. But we must agree that aid has to continue to be sent to Israel. I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with that fact. Much of the disagreement may come with the amount of money or the amount of things that we have to do. Let's lessen this so we can do more of that type of deal. And then on immigration, it's the same kind of thing. How many people do you want to let come into the country? Who's really good, a good citizen? How many people really need asylum? So that's the way it works. It's a give and take. And the problem is that we don't have enough members in Congress who are giving and taking properly, because they all have their own agenda. They're locked into what they believe their constituents want, and clearly a lot of them don't know what their constituents want. And I have to point at only one thing to prove that case. We got 60 or 65 or 75% of the women in this country favor abortions. Not that they want to have them, but they favor a different abortion policy. Did that stop many states from having ridiculous rules put up by the state legislatures? The state legislators who are supposed to be representing the people when most of the people are against what they did with abortion aid? So we have a country that doesn't necessarily get run by the proper people, and they're certainly not listening to their constituents in many, many cases. Right now, in my mind, one of the major problems in the world, one of the major disasters that's going on in the world is the war in Israel. And we have Democrats in the Senate on Wednesday who are continuing to debate whether more conditions need to be placed on aid sent to Israel. And this is just one in a series of the hurdles stalling a legislative package that members in both chambers of Congress hope to send to Israel. They want to send them aid, but they're fiddle-futzing around with the conditions that have to be attached to it. They have major problems there, and they have major problems with the Ukraine, and major problems with the U.S. southern border, and all these conditions are in the way. So the senator from Vermont, who has been an outspoken advocate for conditions to be placed on any aid to Israel, has said that he would not necessarily vote against an aid package if conditions were not included. So there's a guy that's beginning to crack a little bit in the right direction, because we have many who won't crack. They're going to stand by the fact that there has to be conditions, and conditions are a waste of time and effort. So if you want to have aid, let's get it done, and let's get it done without condition. And maybe you can put the addition on a certain amount of money. I don't know. So we're a nation that has always supported Israel, and I believe that we're going to continue supporting them. But I'm not so sure we're going to continue supporting them straight up without any condition. And there are many Democrats in the Senate who are against conditioning aid to Israel. And I'm not so sure that we shouldn't have conditions on everything, but let's be honest. You got 100 people deciding things, and you cannot easily decide what the conditions could be and what the conditions shouldn't be. There's got to be a better way if we want to have conditions on things. There's got to be a way to get the job done quickly when it needs to be done, and not worry about whatever conditions they want to have. And Bernie Sanders, who's been advocating for conditions on the aid, wouldn't say whether he would vote for or against it if there are no conditions. So you got people in Senate and in Congress who can't make up their mind. And there ought to be some rule about what type of conditions you can have and how heavy they have to be. So giving money to people is a very nice gesture, and it has to be thought out properly beforehand. Do these people really need this aid? This is what we want to represent to the world, that we are in sync with the people we're giving aid to. Those are important. But the other conditions may not be that important. So I leave you with that. Conditions, conditions, conditions. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Have a great day. Bye.